Dude, hell.
The heavy, he's resing medium.
Oh, there's a sniper.
Sniper, my bad. I should take that. Oh my god, straight bully.
So after a lot of people have been asking me to do a settings video, and just people constantly coming into my chat and asking for my controller settings and everything else like that, I have decided to finally do a video. So that's what this video is going to consist of. It'll consist of all the settings that I have in game, along with the Xbox accessories app that I use to customize my Elite controller, and also talking about the controller itself. Alright, so first up we'll just talk about the controller. This is an Elite Series 2 controller. I've had it for about 2 years. I've always been an Elite controller guy. I've tried using a GameSir, and me personally, I don't really care for it too much, just because of the fact that the controller is more on the smaller side, so my middle fingers on the back would like overlaps like that, because of the fact that my hands are a little bit more on the bigger side. But so this controller, my Elite controller, right? So it comes with 4 paddles on the back, 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. And I use my 2 middle fingers and then my 2 ring fingers for the paddles on the back, and then because I don't play claw, and then my 2 pointers for the triggers and bumpers, which I don't use the bumpers because my 2 top paddles back here are for my bumpers. So this is the right bumper. It's just the controller's backwards, so the right bumper is mapped to this right paddle, and then my left bumper is mapped to this left paddle. And then these 2 are pretty much kind of just whatever, right? So my bottom right I have mapped to inspect, just because I like that little ARN inspect animation right there. And I don't want to have to hold on the D-pad to do that. And then down here is my jump button. So what having your bumper set to your paddles does is, when you're like in a gunfight and you want to be able to shoot and dash, you can do that while pressing like you can dash while shooting without having to take your finger off your trigger, or playing with your 2 fingers like this, or alternating, or however some people do it. But yeah, that's pretty much how the controller's set up, and we'll move into the next section. Alright, so the next section we'll get into like the actual settings of the controller inside the game. I'm a very slow sense player. I've always been a slow sense player ever since Apex. So these are my settings. For that, I got a 220 horizontal, a 190 vertical. I don't like the look boost, so I don't really do that. This is just at the 1 because I don't use look boost, so I just never turned it down, because there's, not really any point in having a boost ramp up time if I'm not using boost. I recommend to people not using dead zone. The Elite controllers tend to have an issue with stick drift, so I just keep my dead zones normal. And then this is one of the big things that you'll want to look into when playing with controller, is your response curve. A lot of people play linear, and that's what I used to play, is linear. But I really like exponential. I don't know, it just feels... Exponential just feels a little more smooth for recoil control, along with tracking. linear, I caught myself just not really tracking, but more like micro adjusting to stay on target. And that showed really bad when I swapped to exponential, because I was like honestly whiffing my shots because of the fact that I was trying to micro adjust, and with exponential you can't really micro adjust. So if you're more of the micro adjust guy, then I would definitely play linear. But if you want that smooth tracking, I would definitely do exponential then. When recording that last section of the video, I forgot to mention exactly why I don't like the horizontal and vertical look boost, and I also didn't touch on look acceleration at all, why that's 0, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. For the look boost and the look acceleration, I don't like those because so basically what that does, right, is the longer you hold your stick like one way or another, the longer you hold it that way, the faster it's gonna like speed up to a certain point. And by turning that off and turning look boost off and look acceleration off, you build muscle memory on how fast your sensitivity is without having any extra boost that could potentially throw you off. So I heavily preach that you turn off look acceleration to look boost. It'll just build that muscle memory so you guys can do your micro flicks or your tracking or whatever, and it just will become second nature. Alright, and for this last portion, this is mainly just going to cover people who are using Elite controllers. And I'm sure that you could probably also do this with the Elite controller version of the PlayStation. I don't know exactly what it is that I don't play with PlayStation controllers. But so in here, right? So this shows exactly what my stuff is mapped to. In case you didn't catch that or didn't really understand what I meant when I was saying that earlier. But the big thing that you want to change in here, or that at least that I change, is the response curve in here as well as the finals. So for my stick, right, my right stick, I have my sensitivity curve to smooth. It makes it more of like that nice smooth like tracking, not really jumpy or anything. You can tell right there that I have stick drift because the fucking thing just went up like that. Yes, you can tell it. See, anyways, yeah. So you want to keep that to smooth. That's what I do. It makes for nice tracking. But other than that, there's all types of stuff that you can do in here. I would play around with it, get what you're comfortable with. But for the most part, I don't really change anything other than the response curve on the right stick, and then the bindings for the paddles on the back. Like I said earlier, I tried a Gamester, and the only thing I have to say against it is just the fact that it's smaller than the Elite controller, and I don't really like that too much considering I have bigger hands. Also, there's only one paddle on the back. There's 4 buttons that you can play with, but there's only 2 on the back. So that there's like a button back here on the back side, and then a button over here, and then there's 2 up here, 1 here, and then 1 here. But I don't like that because of the fact that in order to hit those, you have to reach over your triggers or your bumpers, and I did not like that.